Welcome, everyone. It's great to see year after year that you keep coming, and there are way more people. I think we have 50% more people this year compared to the other year. In a few minutes, I will unveil Odoo 11. You are about to see an amazing product, a great piece of technology, a software that your users will love. That's something very important for us. And a tool that has the power to make employees more efficient and productive. But before that, let me remind you the state of the enterprise management software market. Because we are so used to use Odoo that we forget what the others are doing. So sometimes it's good to have a look at the competition to remind us where we are. So this is SAP CRM. No comment. This is NetSuite, the prospect form of NetSuite. No comment neither. Yeah, boo. This is QuickBooks. And probably our biggest competitors today, because the other ones that don't do their job, is Excel. A lot of people still use Excel to manage their companies, if not for every activity, for some of them. So this software helps to structure a company, but they do it at the cost of the productivity and the efficiency of the users. And today, and in terms of designs, in terms of speed, in terms of features, and of course, of usability, at Odoo, we want to empower the users instead of structuring and constraining them. Of course, it's important to support the business process of the company. But a great tool, a modern tool, should empower people and make them more efficient. If you want your employee to be more productive, just make them happy, give them a tool they love to use, a tool that really helps them perform their tasks faster. And now, so we worked on that over the past years, and especially this year, we had more resources than usual. So we put all this mindset on Odoo 11, and let's see how it looks like. So first, this is Odoo 10, not the Odoo 11. In Odoo 11, we changed the design. So we work with an Italian designer, and he reviewed everything to be sure it's pixel perfect. And we didn't want it to break things that work. So this screen of Odoo 10 was good, very good. We just wanted to make it pixel perfect, and this will apply to every screen of Odoo you will see today. So let's have a look at the same screen on Odoo 11 today. And there it is. Yeah. So it's little big details, but if you have this screen like 100 times in front of you every day, it's better if it's beautiful and cleaner and pixel perfect. So as you can see, cleaner font, better background, better integration of the icons in the background, and that stuff. But that's not all. So the user experience is very important for us. That's something we fight for every day. How can we make people more productive in their day-to-day tasks? So gorgeous design was one of the key things of this new release. So let's have a look at this design. Of course, we do have a beautiful home page. We also improved every screen like the Kanban view. So here you get the Kanban view. Much cleaner, on a light background, no more dark background. Everyone wants light in his life. With clean animation effect, so if I want to filter all the Kanban cards for which I have an activity today, I just click, or the ones that are planned for the future, or the ones that are all. It's super fast, you see. And it filters everything for me automatically. We also worked on the design of the list view. As usual, you have the shortcut so you can go very fast in any new application. So I am here in the quotations. Way cleaner list view, no dark background, better spacing. So it's really little bit details, but these details matter when you talk about usability. We also improved the form view like this. It's also on white background with clean integration of the chatter. So let's have a look at some opportunities like this, with better avatar, better message, and things like that. We also improved the report. So if you go, let's say, in accounting, and you want to print an invoice, that was the version 10, and you want to print an invoice, Let's go on sales, customer invoice, and I want to print this one. Just click on print invoice. So this is a new feature that helps you configure the system on the fly. So as it's the first time I print a report, he asked me to fill the header of the report so that my header will be perfect. And I can even choose between new designs. So we put several templates of reporting in the system. So here is one. This is one with a background in here. Another one with bigger logo and tagline. Another one with colors, like title and the page number in color. So we designed different report templates. So in just a few clicks, you can have a better report. So better user interface, better report for your customer too. And of course, the first time you print this report, so if I print this invoice, let's choose this one. It configures the system on the fly, and it will not ask me anymore this, so I have a better reporting here. So that's one of the, we worked on the design, on every single aspect of the design, so that it's pixel perfect, it's lighter, brighter. We worked on the interface of your user, but also the one the customer will receive, whether it's an email or a report. But we wanted Odoo to adapt to the way you use the system. You know, in companies, some people are on the road, some people are working on a laptop, some people are working on large screen because they have 2 screens on their thing. So we wanted to benefit from that and deliver a user interface to user that fits all these environments. So we improved, of course, our mobile interface. So here is the new mobile interface. So if you go, let's say, in the Discuss app, you can quickly click on inbox, third. Let's have a look at the chat, the channel. You see it's super fast. It's mobile friendly. It's very different from the desktop one, because if I go to the desktop user interface here, I have something that fits my desktop, better interface for the desktop. So it's improved in the mobile, but we can go everywhere. Let's go in the CRM. Here I have a Kanban, and the Kanban I can swipe and switch from one column to the other from the mobile interface. So it's super efficient, it's clean, you can easily work on mobile, and you benefit from all the features of Odoo. You know, our competitors, they have mobile app for different activities. They have a mobile app for the CRM, and if you customize the CRM, you have to customize the mobile app. We do have a mobile app that covers all the features of Odoo with a great usability. It's directly a clean mobile with swipe, a native feature, a native widget, and things like that. But being responsive is not only about being mobile, it's also about, if you look at how people work in companies, a lot of people are working in big screens. So what we did is, by default, if you go to a card, let's say a card, this one, you do have a form with the regular chatter on the bottom, here. But if you work on a larger screen, I will simulate it, the chatter will move from the bottom to the left, here. So it's super clean. You can see your business opportunity and talk with your customer while you see the business opportunity. So it's much faster. You don't need to scroll. So really adapt. If you have a larger screen, you don't need to scroll. If you have a mobile, it's swipe and it's click. And it works for everything you do. Even if you develop or use community modules, of course, you will benefit from the same features. So it's really well, I think we are on that area years ahead of the competition on mobile and large responsiveness. So this is for the working environment. We run on mobile, laptop, desktop, and everything you have, tablets, landscape, or portrait. And one of the big news is now we just launched a new iOS app. So it's available today on the Apple App Store. It works on version 10 and version 11. It's super fast. It has native widget, account manager. So if you have different Odoo database, you can switch from one to the other very easily. You have native notifications and improved discussed app, Kanban, swipe, and all the features I've shown you. So that's one. We also improved the current Android app with improved Discuss app, better menu, Kanban column swipe, faster load time, and way more in the native widgets. And of course, the new Android app is also available today on the Android App Store. But being beautiful and evolutive, it's great. That's something we work a lot on. But let's think if we can go one step further. So being beautiful is the new standard. Today, even if the competitors don't succeed to get it, I think in a few years, everyone will be beautiful. But we want to go further. We want to have our user happy. If you succeed to have a smile on your user, it's much better. Everyone wants to have a happy life. So we introduced a new concept in Odoo 11 that we call a rewarding user interface. So what's the rewarding user interface? It's a way to deliver great feedback and rewards with a smile. I will give you an example of that after. But what we do, we looked at how people are working. And we look at what was the key things in their daily job, the things that are important for them and that they feel are great achievement. So as an example, if you look at a salesperson, if he's working on a deal since 3 months, he will be very happy to close the deal or to make the deal move forward in the negotiation. So we wanted to celebrate that and help the user on that. If you look at how developers use the task, when they work on a task for months, they might be happy to close the task and say it. So we wanted to help them celebrate that and giving them rewards too. So it's not about saying, okay, you did it. It's more about the deal you close is the biggest deal of the month, so you did better than the rest of the team. That's a very important information for me. It's very rewarding. So let's have a look at what we did in that area. And let's start with the pipeline. So everywhere in the interface, we were looking for small details, because we don't want to disrupt the user, small details that would make their usage of Odoo funnier or happier. So one of the things, and as an example here, let's say I drag and drop a business opportunity to the one column. I will drag and drop it here, the first clean animation. And then when I drop it, you see the number, it's a to show me that when we release this feature, I think I played 10 minutes doing that. Wow, it's so cool, and I see the Kanban, and it's clean because it doesn't disrupt the user. It's the perfect balance between efficiency and giving rewards and fun in the software. So I think I will not do 10 minutes today, but I did something else for you. I prepared, it's so clean that I prepared a slow motion about it. Let's. And I think it's the first time in the world that an ERP is so clean, so beautiful, so rewarding that we want to do a slow motion about it. So that was one of the things. It's little details, but it's little details to make your work life, a little bit better. And we went further on other areas, so let's get another opportunity here. And sometimes you have opportunities and you win opportunities, so you click on the mark one. And here, nothing happens. Of course, it's marked as one, but nothing special happens because it was a small deal. And we don't want to reward people for everything, otherwise we lose the surprise effect, and the surprise effect is very important. But let's do the same with a bigger deal. This one, for instance, I think it's big enough. And when you do that, you have a... You see, even watching it, we smile about it. When you do that, not only it's fun, you get something, but it delivers an important message. I don't know if you have had the time to read it, but it said, I had the team record over the past 30 days. As a salesperson, it's important. You know, the salespeople are fighters. They want to get their budget and things like that. When you deliver such a message, not only it's important, but you reward them a little bit and you provide them important feedback. So that's what I call pushing the bar forward. Being beautiful is already better than the average, but now we push forward, we want a user interface that is much cleaner about it. And you can even customize it, and that's when it starts to become fun. So I customized it with the head of our CTO, Lesuisse, that you will see right after. And I also did a slow motion about it. So when you click mark as one, it's very slowed down. And I let you imagine what people will do with that. So they will put the head of their managers, or I don't know. But the good thing is it becomes fun to use the software. It's become fun to use an ERP. Who have thought that 3 years ago before we entered in the market? So yes, with this new rewarding user interface, these are small examples, but you will find different examples here and there that doesn't disrupt the user, but that will make them love the software. So that's the rewarding user interface. Some example of rewards and feedback we do on that. When a salesperson do a team record, when an accountant, you know, for an accountant, reconciliation is something super boring. You have to reconcile 100 invoice and match with payment, invoice payment, and you do that for hours. Of course, when you get to the end of this job, you will be very happy to have a smiling face, a rainbow man, that come and say, okay, you closed 50 transactions, you did it in 5 minutes 30, and you beat your record. That's the kind of thing we want to give to the thing. And we already had that in version 10, but not with the same level of precision and details. Now it's much better with the Rainbow Man. But I always think about our accountant, Christine. When we migrated from version 9 to version 10, the first thing she did, she came to our office and said, do we still have the thing that counts the number of transactions per second? And so, yes, now we have it, but it's even much better. And if you want, you can even put the head of your daughter, Christine, on the animation. So we have things like that. If you have a big inbox and you clear your inbox, we reward the user too. So having a software that is simple, that is beautiful, and that is rewarding is important. But what's even more important is to spend less time in training the people that use the software. So that's usability. If the software is easier, the implementation is more affordable, and the customer will pay less. And that's one of the key factors, of key focus today is to be sure we continuously decrease the price of the software, of the implementation, and the price to use it. So we also improve the way you can configure the system. So let's go on more business-oriented things. So you know, Odoo is super powerful. You can customize it to do any kind of things. It's very flexible. There are so many configuration options that you can do a lot of things. But it's also complex when you have so many configurations. So we improve that. Now if you go to an application, let's say the sales, and you go to the settings, we have a new screen with all the settings. So first, you have a super clean design. You see how the information is organized. It's super clean. Oh, I can bring back my regular size. I don't need a large desk anymore. And you can activate features. Like, let's say I want unit of measure. And when you activate a feature, you can use it right away. So you don't need to configure somewhere, activate somewhere, configure in another way, and use it another way. Everything is in the same screen. So you can activate your features like that, and it just shows. But that's not all. We do have a lot of apps. So sometimes it takes time to find your features, even if it's well organized like that. So if you want to check if it's the CRM, you have an instant switch to any configuration. So it's super fast to find what you are looking for. You don't need to switch from another app, click, click, click. No, you just click there, and you get it. So that's cool. But the better thing is now you can search also. So let's say I want to activate coupon. I just search coupon, and I get it. Variants. Let's say I want some phone validation, you just write and you get it. And it's super fast, switching from one application to another. So the new settings, we have designed clean options. We have reviewed every setting option to be sure the copywriting is clear, the design is clear, the kind of options you have is simple. Now you can activate, configure, and use the feature at the same place, so you don't need to know the whole structure of all the menus of Odoo. You have a cross-app setting, so you can switch from one app to another, and a global search on all your settings. Okay, but speaking about time, where else can we save people's precious time? And so we worked, and our answer has been everywhere. If we improve the performance of Odoo, if we make it faster, if we save 30 seconds per click, or if we save 10 seconds per click, as people use Odoo a lot, you can save days of work. You can save full-time employees if you want. So I did an animation about that. Here. So on the left, you have Odoo 10. On the right, for the race, you have Odoo 11. It's a complex business case. It's a sale order with 4 lines, pick, pack, ship, so 3 picking have to be generated, and a manufacturing order, which is make to order. So it's typically a slow document in Odoo. And you will see how much time it takes for the 2 versions to perform. Here it is. So they will click. Both are computing. OK, the right one is done. And Odoo 10 is still computing. Still computing. Still computing. Still computing. And that's it. So we went. Of course, I chose a very slow document. On fast operation, you get the same thing, but less noticeable. But on average, Odoo 11 is 3 times faster, 3 times, not 30%, 3 times faster than Odoo 10. And this was measured on a very small database, so a database with demo data. But the thing is, what we improved was the number of SQL queries, mostly. So we completely redesigned the mail module. We worked on the ORM performance. We worked on the procurements, which were bottlenecks on the manufacturing operations. So we redesigned all those things to decrease the number of SQL queries. I think we decreased them by 20 or 30 times less, so it's huge. And if you do the same test on a large database, it's not 3 times, it's 5 times or 10 times, depending on the size of the database. So it's really super fast. So one of the key features of Odoo 11 is it's blazing fast, 3 times faster depending on the operations and the database size. So we want people to work fast, but we also want people to work smart. So how can we work smarter? And we look at everything we did over the past and what worked and what didn't work. And one of the key things we did in the preceding version, it was the chatter of Odoo. You know, the message you have in the bottom of the document. The chatter of Odoo improved the way people communicate, discuss on tasks, exchange mail with their customer because it was fully integrated with the mail gateway. It really improved the way companies communicate. So that was clearly a very good thing, especially because it was global across all the documents of Odoo. But today, with version 11, we will introduce something that I think will have the same impact than the chatter had a few years ago. And so we introduced with Odoo 11 the scheduled activities. So if chatter is about the past, the scheduled activities is about the future. It's the same kind of tool, fully integrated, but for the future. So the scheduled activities helps people organize all their activities. Could be email, phone calls, meeting integration, and then integrate it on every document like the chatter, on your invoice, the follow-ups of your invoice, on your business opportunities, the next activities to do for the salespeople. You can have as many activities as you want. Let's have a look at it. So on the right here, you have the chatter with all your current communication. And right to the left of this one, you have the scheduled activities. So I have a few activities here that are sorted by type of activity, because usually when I do a project, I work in project environment. When I'm selling, I'm working in the sales environment, so we classify all the things. And you can click on one. So all the future activities of the user are organized with this mechanism. So I see that on product templates, I have 2 product templates that have a new activity to do. Let's have a look at this one. So next activities are like that. In the chatter, the top of the chatter is the future, and then when you go below, you have things that you did today, and then things that you did yesterday or over the past. So it's cleanly well integrated with the chatter. And you see here, I have a message that says, no vendor defined on the product. please set 1 to automate the purchase proposition with minimum stock rules. Before you had to go to the procurement exception, just the terms is scary. No, everything is well integrated. I am on my product, the right product, so I just click edit and set the vendor, and the message will disappear. So that's a scheduled activity. I can cancel, edit, or mark it done. Let's mark it done. I can provide a feedback or not. And it's, of course, it stayed there, but now it's today because I did it, so it's fully integrated with the chatter. So it's well integrated in the different documents. If you go to the business opportunities, you have everything you have to do, or things where you are late, or you can filter only the late one, the overdue, like this, as usual. And you can click, and you see the next activities that you probably set yourself on your business opportunity. And you can say mark as done, edit or cancel. When you have a lot, you can fold and fold. You have clean information about who generated the activity for you. So the information flows perfectly in the company. And you can just process. You can create many activities, and all the activities are fully integrated with the meeting, the calendar, the voice over IP, and the calls. So let's say I plan to call this guy today. Let's say today, like this, and I schedule a call for negotiation of the contract. Schedule. So now I have a new activity, and the activity will pop up on the right day or time or meeting, depending. You can even have the alerts of the meeting if you schedule a meeting. And it's fully integrated with the calls. So let's say I continue my day. When I'm ready, I can call, and I have all the next activities, who are the people I should contact directly. So you can just click and call, and you have your voice over IP phone integration integrated. Fully integrated with the rest, so when I do my call with the customer, I can log a note. Let's log a note like this, and I can complete my test, schedule. Reschedule, another one, if you want to, salespeople, they always think about next activity. I do something, I schedule the next one for every business opportunity. Or I can open the opportunity like this, so I can edit it and modify on the fly. So if the customer wants to know something about his contract, I just click on the customer, go to his invoice, and you can navigate very efficiently. And let's have a look at the due invoice like this. And so yes, you have full integration with the email, where we completely redesigned the voice over IP to fully integrate with the meeting, the opportunities, the customer, sending an email, logging a note, forwarding a call, muting the conversation. For if you are on a touchscreen, have a clean keyboard with clean customer forms directly integrated, and fully integrated with the next activity. So when you schedule an activity, you can let's go back to my activities. You can also schedule an activity from the Kanban view. So I see that for this opportunity, I have an email that I should have sent 3 days ago, and I have a call that is scheduled today. And I can just write it here. OK, that's done, and that's done. And you see my progress bar is moving. I have nothing else to do for this one. So the schedule activity is super powerful because it will organize the future things that people should do. They cannot use it to manage themselves, like the things to do on a task. You have a big task and lots of small details to do. Or for a salesperson to schedule all the next activities for every business opportunity. Or for the system to warn the user about issues or problems or things he should do. An example, if an employee does a holiday request, we'll schedule the next activity for his manager to validate the holiday request. OK, let's come back and fully integrate it with. I showed you the voice over IP, but it's also integrated with email, meetings. So let's schedule a meeting about negotiation like this. And then I can schedule my meeting like that. And that's it. It's integrated, fully integrated with my next activities. And I will have an alert a few hours or minutes before the meeting. I will have a progress bar about the status of my next activities. And when you look at a Kanban like this, the colors you have here are the next activities. So you directly know if you are late. So here I have 2 activities that are planned. scheduled. It's green because everything's fine. I don't have to do it today. But I have one that is overdue. I can click and I get it directly. So this is one I should have done a few days ago. So yesterday I should have called this customer. So the chatter was about the past. The chatter has been a revolution for Odoo because it improved the way people communicate, follow each other, the information flow within the company. And now we have done the same kind of things, fully integrated with everything, with the chatter, with the email, with the voice over IP, with your meetings to organize the future, so all the things you have to do. And this is very important because that's what stresses people. When they have too many things to do, they keep it in their head, and then they get stressed because they don't know where to start with. When you have a system that organizes your job, you can have employees that are less stressed. So we do have voice over IP integration, meeting integration, mail integration. It's available directly from the Kanban in the chatter of every document or through the top menu. We did improve the voice over IP, better usability. We have a call queue based on the next activities. You can log notes on the fly. We have out-of-the-box integration with onsip.com, AlloCloud, and as usual, Asterisk compatible services. Okay, but so that's how we work to make people more efficient. But let's go further in efficiency. Efficiency is also about how to manage everyone's personal pain point. So when you are a company, every company is different. You have employees that have to do this, and the other that have to do that, and he would like to get this tool to help him, and this guy wants another tool to help him. So if we want to be efficient and really help or change the people work, we also have to design a tool that fully adapts to their environment. I showed you that we adapt on their screen, but now we will adapt to their business. And that's where, and if they have the right tool, that's where we introduce Odoo Studio. So Odoo Studio has been introduced last year. It's a tool to build and customize your own business apps. But this year, we're bringing to the next level. Let's have a look. So the Odoo Studio is this small icon. So now you can import and export your customization. So you get modules that you can re-import. That's very useful. You design something, and then you can deploy in production later on. And you can do it several times. Re-export 3 times, then import, export, import, and it only applies the changes. So you have evolution of your software. You can also customize. Now you can customize everything, including the background. No, I will not mess with the background now. I will do it after. You can build new apps. So let's create a new app very quickly. Let's do an app for a real estate company with something that looks like a real estate. This and this. I prefer this one. Okay. Next. And I will manage properties. I want to manage my properties. And I get a new app. That's cool. It takes a few clicks. But the way we design the app today is super clean. So you can rename any field. Property name. That's easy. You can put it required, or you can add new fields. So let's add an image. Here. On the right, here. Let's add the price of this property, so decimal, like this. And you click, property price. In a few minutes, you can drag and drop and build your own thing. Let's add a checkbox, I don't know why, and then a date. Selling date, like this, and I can customize. And let's say if the property price is too big, I want the selling date to be required, so required conditional, and I can filter if the property price is bigger than 100 euro, I want my selling date to become required. But that's not all. I want to add a chatter. I click, and I get a chatter on my thing with scheduled activities, notes, and so on. I can add here and add a progress bar with statistics. And you can design, just like that, in a few minutes, a new thing. So here, I created a new app with a property XYZ. Let's add a picture. Okay, that should be a property. I didn't put a size on my picture, but that's fine. Let's get another one. Like this. Okay. You can customize everything, so also the list view. That's the form. Let's say I want to add the creation date here. Look. And I want to put the price somewhere. Where is the price? Followers created. That's existing. Left, down, property price. I get it. Thank you. And you can go further, because now we manage all the views. So if you want to create a Kanban view, you switch, and you go and you activate a Kanban view. And you can activate your Kanban view, add an image, the ones who created the property, add a new priority field with stars, add colors if you want, drop down with color, yes, and you can set up different things. You can even say, okay, the priority here is only visible for the financial people. So you play with the access rights. So you can play with any conditions, access rights, and now I have a clean Kanban card. I can group my Kanban card if I want to create stage. So I have a Kanban here with my different properties. When I can do that, select a color, and everything. And so you can really design apps from scratch. You see, in 2 minutes, I already manage my properties as the list view, as a Kanban view. Maybe I would like my menu to open the Kanban by default because it's better. So click on the studio, go to the views like this, go on the Kanban and say, this is the default one. And you can go further, add a graph view or pivot view. And you could choose the graph axis. So let's say I want the reporting by price, measure, property price, group by, I didn't put a price on my property, so it's 0, group by who created it. And in a few minutes, you design your own application. So that's Odoo Studio. You can create new apps from scratch, but you can also modify existing apps. So if you want to modify, let's say, a sale order, same thing, you go in Odoo Studio, or you can navigate through Odoo Studio also directly now. Just navigate from here. You don't need to exit Studio, come back. And let's customize my sale order. I will add a tab here with some statistics. And I will put my statistics a field, let's say a related field. I want statistics of my sale order grouped by country code. So I go on my sale order, take the country of my customer. From the country of my customer, I want the code of the country, not the name. So let's do that. I select a field. I go on the customer or the country. I don't know if I have the country already here. No. So let's go on the customer. On the customer, I get the country. And on the country, I want the country code. You see how easy it is to create relation between different tables. I confirm. And now I have the country code, which is BE for this one. On my thing, I will rename the field into country code. You could say different thing, placeholder, widget, required, read-only, conditional action, automated action, and that kind of things. You can, of course, add other fields. Let's say I want an integer for some statistics here. So there I created a link between 3 different tables that I grouped on my sale order. So if I close that, on my sale order I have my statistics which are here. And if you want some reporting in just a few minutes, group by, you come here, country code, apply, and that's it. I have my statistics by country code. So the way we create the views, we inherit, so everything in Odoo Studio is made so that you don't have migration issues. So all the inheritances are clean. We actually use Odoo Studio since 1 year now, and we have less problem when it's designed with Odoo Studio than when it's designed with a developer. Because usually when the module was developed by a developer, we had to port it to a new version to upgrade it at every size version. With Odoo Studio, it's all metadata, data is easier to migrate, and they are all done so that it upgrades automatically with clean inheritances. So not only we fixed the way to customize, but we'll also fix the way to maintain this customization. Of course, we still need developers. You cannot do everything with Odoo Studio, but... and you can also do automated actions. So here, we design a new way to automate actions. So you could say, if a quotation, when a quotation is updated on the creation, or let's say on the creation of the quotation, if, and you can come with complex things like if the customer, then I will use the same thing, country, and this time I will use the name of the country, equal Belgium. Then I perform this automated action. And then you can write something in a field, like let's say I will change the state of the sale order to quotation. So in just a few minutes, you can automate everything. So you can not only provide an interface that is dedicated to the business problem of the user, but you can also automate most of their activities that can be automated. So this is Odoo Studio. You can customize anything. And then when it's customized, you can, of course, export your customization to deploy it on other customer or to deploy it to the production database. Or let's change the background now. You can customize the background too. Let's do it. Background. Okay, I have a background here. I didn't save it. That's fine. Oh. But you get the point. Background. Okay. And now I have another background for my thing. So you can customize it to the branding of your company very easily. So that's Odoo Studio. We have an improved navigation in Odoo Studio, drag and drop fields, one-to-many fields. I didn't show you that, but we improved the way to customize everything, including the complex one-to-many. So if I go to a sale order, switch to Studio, you want to customize this list, you click here, and you can customize the list or the form view, and then you can customize your sale order. Background, domain selector, improve generated views, import, export. We support all the views now, forms, calendar, filters, Gantt chart, pivot views, even a website form. So if you want to have like a help desk submission form on your website, you can go, or a quotation submit form, you can come here and create a website view, and we'll create the form for you on the website, if you install the website builder. I didn't install the website builder here. But then you can create a form on the website so that when the people fills the form, it creates the document for you automatically. Very useful for help desk, support, contact forms, and things like that. Okay, so Odoo Studio helps to customize so that the software will fit everyone's business need and automate some of the action with the automated actions. But we wanted to go further in the automation. As I said, our goal is to make people be more efficient and productive in their day-to-day task. So one of the things we did to automate some of their job is to launch a new app, which is the marketing automation app. So that's a completely new app that you can, I will close Studio, that you can see here. You can go to marketing automation, and you can create marketing campaign that can be useful for anything. So this is an example of a campaign. It's a campaign of a new partnership offer that match all the records that are contacts, or all your contacts on your database, with a segment of customer, the one which is a customer, the field is a customer is set. And then you can design and automate all your actions. So after 1 hour, we'll send this email. And then you have the statistics about this email. And I click edit. And you can trigger things. So if someone replied on this email after 5 hours, I want to assign the lead to a salesperson. Or if I notice that the mail is clicked, then 2 days later, I want to close the lead. Or the mail is not clicked, I send another email, like 2 weeks after. Mail not opened, mailed open. You can fork another activity. And you can design your campaign like that. So here you have a message after 7 days, and if there is a reply, 1 hour after the reply, I will do a server action that will create a message for my salesperson, so that he knows that the guy, that he has a new activity to do for this opportunity. And you can create new activities like that very easily. So I could say, once someone, let's say on the first one, and you can design your marketing campaign like this. Once someone click on that, I do a server action, which is a message to a salesperson, or you can design an email if you prefer. Design an email, or use a template, or create a new one, and you design the email directly inline, like this. You choose your template, and you design your email. Let's put a banner here. And you automate, and this email will be automated, of course. So I will send an email 2 days after we get a reply to the preceding email on this activity. And I can add a domain, so a filter, that will say only if it has the following conditions and things like that. And now I created a new campaign here. Nothing went into this campaign yet, so the leads will flow, and then I will have statistics about it. So you can automate everything because it runs on any document of the system. So here I selected the contact form, but you could say, okay, I want to do that on sales order, on quotation, on anything you want. And after you can launch a test. So let's launch a test. You choose a contact. Usually you launch a test on yourself so that you get all the emails, and you check. And the system will simulate, based on you will get this and this, and you can launch the different activities to check if you get the emails or not, so you don't have to wait 7 days to get it. And you have the statistics about everyone, so those are the guys that entered this marketing campaign. And if I take this guy, on this date we sent a free trial offer. 7 days after we did that, and then because he replied, we made a message for the salesperson, and we have 2 activities that are scheduled. So you know the scheduled activities I talked about? Now we schedule 2 future activities. One is to send another email for a free trial, and after 7 days, if he is not become a partner yet, then we will do something else. So you see how easily you can automate most of your process with the marketing automation mechanism. And it's super clean. You can trigger it now if you want. And the message there will be sent now. And you have statistics on everything. Every single person, if he clicked on it, if the message has been bounced, if he opened it, if he replied. And you can automate emails, but also actions. So this is the marketing automation. I think the term is not perfect because it's not a marketing automation. You can use it for anything. You can use it to do abandoned cart revival. You can use it for lead nurturing, sales script. You know, a salesperson. After 1 day you call, after 2 days you call, and you do that, and you do that, and you do that. You can use it for real marketing campaigns. You can use it to manage the renewals of your subscription. You can use it to manage product onboarding. When someone subscribes to your product, you want to onboard him with tips and tricks. And you can do with the marketing automation, automate email or action. Any trigger could be a document, an email response, a timing condition. You have an easy-to-use test mode and great KPIs and graphs. Isn't it cool? And you know what's cool? It's super advanced, and it's usable by your end user, like everything in Odoo. Most of the thing in Odoo. Okay, now let's talk about specific businesses. So we wanted Odoo to be faster, to have a clean design, to have people happy, to automate their job activities, to make them work faster. And one of the things we had to do to that is to improve Odoo for very specific industries. The first one we did is the services companies. We redesigned and reviewed everything for services companies. The way we manage timesheet, the way we remind people about timesheet, the way we forecast, the way we sell services, the way we compare the forecast with the planning, the way we manage the billing rates, the way we build the different tasks. So version 11 comes with a new service management approach. And let's have a look. Still based on the project management app. So new project now have, of course, a better design for the Kanban, but they have every project has its own dashboard. So here's the dashboard of one of my projects, customer projects. And on this dashboard, you can see details of your hours. So I did 40 hours that will be billed based on time and material, 0 hours that will be billed based on fixed price, 0 hours that are not linked to something to be built, and 28 hours that we decided to offer to the customer that are not billable. So we have your billing rates. So we have 58% of our billing rates based on time and material. It's fully integrated with the expenses if you add expenses. So we can also manage the costs on your project. You have the profitability, what you invoice, what you should invoice, what are the costs. Then you have the same by people. And everything is clickable. So I can zoom on that, click here, and I have the details of the billable hours of Peter Parker. And in the bottom, you have the timesheet and forecast comparison. So on the left, you have the timesheet, what I did. And on the right, you have what have been forecasted. So the main idea is that you sell people on a project, and then you can forecast. I will assign this developer to 10 days this month, this developer on this project 20 days this month, this designer for 5 days. So you forecast your resource, and then people work on the timesheet. And then you have a comparison between what you sold, what have been forecasted, and what have been timesheeted. And then the billing is fully automated. You have this at the reporting level for the whole company also in the reporting. Or you can filter on one project or all the projects just directly from the search bar here. Or you can zoom directly on the task, on the forecast. So that's the project dashboard, but we improved everything, the configuration, the way you manage tasks. So let's go on a specific task. On this project, I can create a new task. Let's say I have to do that. Okay. Let's put it in development, just to see the number growing. And put it in green to have the progress bar that moves. And schedule an activity. So for this task, I should ask someone to send an email to this guy on that date. So that's the regular project management. But this task has not been sold yet. So if I want to sell it, that's super easy. Based on what I sold already to this customer, I can decide if it's a task for a junior developer or a senior developer. Or you can do a mapping with the project and the user. Some people are junior, some people are senior, so that it completes based on the user. And now it will be automatically linked and billed to the thing. So you can do sales order that create tasks like before, but also you can manage on the task what you want to build and how you want to build them. Much easier than version 10. You can, of course, timesheet directly here. You can manage task dependencies, subtasks. You have some tips and tricks everywhere. Let's say one of the difficulty when you run a timesheet is to have your employee to fill the timesheet. Nobody likes to fill the timesheet. So we also improve the way you remind people about that. As you can see here in the timesheet control, you can automate that 3 days after the end of the month, I want to check that everyone did his own timesheet. And they will get an email, and we will take into account everything. We'll check the holidays. Is he working this day? So he worked like 15 days on the week, on the month, and so we expect to have 15 days of timesheet on the month, and we compare based on that. As if he didn't do it, we will send him an email, and in the email, you have one click, and he can fill his timesheet. And you have the same for the manager, reminder for the manager, because if you work with timesheet approval, you can decide to send a reminder to your manager like 7 days after to check the timesheet of his team. You can decide if you want to bill based on timesheet or based on approved timesheet only. We, of course, have all our App Store and mobile app dedicated to timesheet that fully synchronize and that works offline, so you can go on your customer site, do some timesheet, and then it's synchronized when you get back on the internet. That's very easy. So we improved everything about the project management. I will not go into the details, but we'll have a talk about that later on. But we do have new project dashboard, efficient billing of tasks, timesheet reminder, better management of the expense, better management of the forecast, better management of the way you bill, and the billing rates. Let's continue. That's not all. We improved all the apps, so including the website builder. So let's install the website. I did not install website app here, but I can install it on the fly. That's also amazing. I think no other software vendor will install an application on the fly like that during a demonstration. Normally, you need to call a consultant. The consultant have to install the software for you, and blah, blah, blah. Here, just a click, so I can afford doing it. And so the first thing you will notice is the new teams and the team selector. Yeah, it's good. So you select a team. Let's use this team. And it installed the team. So we redesigned every team to be sure that every building blocks, the way you interact with them, the options on the building blocks we provide, the animation we provide are cleaner. The team selector is actually much cleaner too. And in the website builder, we improved a lot of small details here and there. So I will not show you all the details, but you will see some of them. My team is installing. Okay. Oh. Okay. So I can design my page as usual. I don't have my team. Save. Now you have a new publish unpublish button. So every page can be published and published, not only the blogs and the product and so on, so every static page too. A new HTML and CSS-less editor. It's super cool because it's not only CSS, it's less. So you can change one variable and the whole interface changes. So it's super clean. We have, in the new customization option, of course, a new page manager. So you get all the page of your things, and you can customize the SEO, the manage the page, rename them. So let's go on the About Us page. And you can change the URL, so no need for the /page/ anymore. So I can write /about Odoo, and that will be the new URL. I can decide if I want to publish it, include it in my index, decide to publish at a specific date, show it in the menu, show it as a home page. I can redirect for an old URL. I didn't do it yet. I could have done it here. So if I change it to, I can select, click here, redirect, and I choose a 301 or 302. So you see, it's super clean. All your small options are there, very easy to use. You can go to the page directly. And now I have a new About Us page that is not with a clean redirect and everything. So a new page manager. We have a new dashboard too that fully integrates with your Google Analytics. So if I go to the website, I didn't link it, and all your e-commerce activities will be added to the dashboard, where you can easily switch months last year. We have improved the way you install new apps. New SEO, theme selector, publish and published, page builder, CSS editor, yeah. So we review the page builder so that it's cleaner. We improved the themes, and the team selector page, the publish and publish button, less editor, page manager, customizable URL, new media manager, new dashboard. That's for the website builder. For the e-commerce, we did a responsive checkout, unified payment mechanism. That's super cool. Now you can not only charge people directly from Odoo without having a redirect to the payment processor or gateway, but you can also charge from the backend or the front end, or when you can charge someone from the website because he buys something online, and then you can use subscription with the same token, or you can decide to charge him from the backend. So you have an unified payment gateway that works everywhere: subscription, backend, the online quotation, the e-commerce, and all those things. The CRM. We have mechanisms to manage abandoned carts, the product availability because it's fully linked with the inventory, product comparator, wish lists, coupons and promotions, subscriptions. You can sell subscriptions online now directly from the e-commerce, and a clean dashboard for the e-commerce. So part of our new apps, we know in order to improve the website, we also created a new meeting scheduler application, appointment scheduling application. So this allows to configure your different salespeople, their availabilities, the different slots, and your customer can book a meeting online. That's very efficient for dentists or things like that. So now if you go to the calendar application, you have a new menu, online appointment. You can create different types of appointment and select how you want to manage them. So the usual appointment duration is 1 hour. They have to contact you at least 4 hours before the meeting and not after 15 days. They can cancel up to 1 hour before the meeting. These are my availabilities in terms of slots. So you can schedule appointment at 9, 11, 13 on Monday, on Wednesday, this day, Friday. You can add custom questions, like when someone book a meeting, I want to ask for his age, and it's a single line text or drop-down radio checkbox, and so on. Save. Different message, and then you can publish that on your website, and now people can book a meeting with you. Oh, I have a problem with my website. Okay. And now people can book a meeting with you from the website. Did I? No. Okay. But you get it. One of the biggest projects, that's clearly the biggest project we have done. That was the largest team we put on version 11. It was the inventory management application. So we have a huge team refactoring everything in inventory. There are not a lot of big things. It's mostly small details. But that's small details that changes everything. So what we did in inventory management, we made it super fast. We allowed the user to edit posted transaction. That's very important. You receive product, you made a mistake. Now you can fix it. You can edit posted transaction, of course, if you have the access rights. We have made robust warnings and constraints. So no more using the wrong serial number for a specific operation and messing with your data or your traceability report. We really managed all the single issues people had. Improved barcode scanner. We have a better management of the exceptions. As I said before, no more procurements in exception. We improved the FIFO and landed cost. So we improved all the small details in inventory management so that it gets faster and better. So let's go to the inventory app. Let's say receive some products. And here I have 35. I received the 35. Oh, let's say I made a mistake. I have this unlock button, like on the sale order, if you have access right. And now I can edit the 35. Like this, and I put 33. It looks simple. It is simple. But you have to imagine one thing. This looks simple, but we made it work with the whole complexity of Odoo. With the pick, pack, ship operation, the cross-dock, the drop shipping, the scheduling with the manufacturing, the minimum stock rules that trigger it. So we made all the logic and what makes the power of Odoo, which is a very advanced inventory management system, and we made it super simple so that even this kind of operation in that environment becomes simple. So we had to handle every single small detail so that it works in all use cases. But at the end, for the end user, it just works. You want to change it, you change it. But we manage the whole logic for them easily. So that's for inventory, and we did the same for MRP. We reviewed everything, the way we manage lots, the way we manage manufacturing orders. So let's have a look at the Work Center control panel, which is in manufacturing, as an example of what improved. So now you can go to the tablet interface that you put on every Work Center, on every machine, and we improve the way we handle the different operations. So this is a worksheet so I see what I have to do. So here, I have in my tablet, you see it's big buttons in black with my instruction of the worksheet fully integrated. I have my menu, I can scrap, block the machine, scrap operation, or launch a quality alert on the fly. And this is what I should do, and the system tells me what to do. So what we did is what we fully integrated. Quality alerts, scrapping, steps of the manufacturing order for the worksheet, scanning of serial number for components of manufacturing or finished product. Everything is fully integrated in the same thing. API for IoT things, everything is fully integrated in the single screen that manages everything on the tablet. So let's do a table here, and it says, please ensure that you are using the new screwdriver. So it was an alert that someone from the quality team did, or probably a manufacturing engineer did, because he changed the plan. So it says, we changed the screwdriver, so use this one now. Okay, I do, next. And we manage all the steps of the manufacturing. So it says, please enter the table head serial number. Serial number. Of course, you can scan it. And you have the instruction on what to do there. Take a picture of the table head serial number. Okay, you can, of course, if you use the mobile app, the tablet app, it's fully integrated, so you can take a picture directly from the tablet, or through API, you integrate with your machine, and there are machines that do the picture for you. So let's use a picture, like this. Okay, I get a picture, now I go to the next step. You see the instruction change. So now I have a quality test, which is pass or fail. Check the fastening are in good condition. Okay, yes, it's good, pass. Measure the angle formed by the two adjacent things. So, okay, it's 90 degrees. And you have, that's a quality test based on measures. Validate. You can navigate, always do previous, skip. So here it's asked me attach the legs. Okay, that's just an information, next. And you see my instruction change. And now the table legs number, and I have to put 4 table legs because it's a table. So, but only, let's say I only have 3 of one serial number, which is the new serial number. I did not create it, so I create it on the fly. Leg 001, I put 3 from this one, and now he will ask me one more, because I need 4. Okay, validate. And I have a summary of all my operation. Everything is measured so that you have the performance of your worker at the end. And I can close my manufacturing order. And then I have nothing to do. So now it's fully Industry 4.0 with quality check, step, scan, integration of the serial number directly in the worksheet so that you have a work center control panel on tablets on your machine that is ready. You have the IoT integration that is very important for Industry 4.0 companies with the API of Odoo that you can integrate at any step of the process I showed you. So instead of taking a picture, you can integrate with a machine. You can edit post-transaction at any time. So if I am the manufacturing manager, I can come back on the manufacturing order and just change the serial number, like I did in the delivery order. It's nothing more complex than that. And we manage the whole complexity, the traceability report, and so on for you. And of course, we review all the reports, the traceability, the costing, the BOM structure, the where you things, the... yeah. We also have an improved PLM with new version and revision management, document management, rebase of ECO. Rebase of ECO is super cool. You know, in manufacturing, they used to have manufacturing BOM and engineering BOM. And the complexity of managing both is very complex. You need both because engineering BOM is used by engineers that do AutoCAD files or SolidWorks, and they do their own BOM. But the problem is that from time to the time you need to deploy it in production, the manufacturing engineer team has a different BOM because they don't deploy at the same time or they don't manage the hierarchy the same way. Now, with the rebase mechanism of the ECO, you can have different engineering change order at the same time, and it's like Git or GitHub, and you can merge one and rebase the other one so that you apply the change to the new one and merge another one after. So you can manage the full, everyone working, a big manufacturing engineer team working on the same bill of material so that you don't need to replicate all your BOMs in 2 times. And have a lot of people recording the same data because managing 2 times the same BOM is a lot of work. So let's have a look. Let's do an engineering change. on a product, on a bill of material, and we manage the documents on the product, let's say on a bill of material, for my table, here on this BOM, and I start a new revision. So I get a copy with all my attachment of bill of material. I can change my bill of material here, and let's say I need 5 table legs instead of 4. That's it. And I can change the attachment. And I will change the version of the plan or the chart. Let's say I want to deactivate this one. I don't use it anymore, and I create a new plan. I like my background. Here it is. And so now I have the history of those things. So it's not applied on the product yet, but when I will put that in production, when I will apply the change, it will update the manufacturing order, it will update the documents, update the revision of the product, so everything is done automatically for you. And the cool thing is, if someone do another ICO, I will have the opportunity to rebase it, so that the change that I have here will be applied, the new one will apply, so that I can merge one and then the other one in the order I want. And of course, you still have the approval process and all the things. So it's applied. Now on the product, I have all the documents, all the version, and the new bill of material has been updated. Okay, I told you that the manufacturing and the stock in manufacturing refactoring was our bigger task. I think this task was as big as the manufacturing and stock one. So we did improve a lot of things on accounting. The main thing we did is to say, for years, the accounting localization have been done by the community, and they did a great job on that. But now it's time to raise that and work with the community and merge this localization in standard to bring them to another level of quality if we work together. So that's what we did, and we reviewed the accounting localization of different countries, a lot of countries. And so we started to standardize all the accountings to be sure that the user experience when you start with the localization is perfect. So we worked on a lot of countries. In France, we did the certification CGI Article 286. In the United States, we did the tax cloud integration for all the states, the Czech register. In Mexico, we did the CFDI for electronic invoices, the CAT certification, the DIOT, Declaration Informativa de Operation Contratos, something like that. In Germany, we did the SKR03, SKR04, import-export of those, the Umsatzsteuervornahmemeldung, which is... I think it's the VAT return statement. In Trastat, we did in Switzerland the cash rounding for point of sale for the 5 cents, and with DTA, SIPA, the BVR or ICR, bordereau de virement. The Spain, we did the Modelo 111, 115, 303, the new chart of account, new taxes. In Belgium, we did electronic invoice for when you work with the government. It's a new legislation. The SIPA, Netherlands, we did the ICP report. Colombia, the retention certificate, and so on and so on. GST in India. So we started to put all the things, so we guarantee that we upgrade them at every version. We guarantee that we'll do it clean, and we work with the community and our customer to make this localization become perfect. It's an ongoing work, but all these countries have pretty much are already in production because some of them were already in our SaaS. On top of that, we also have added a lot of features. New legal statement, robust bank interface, SIPA, direct debit and credit transfer, 3-way matching, you know, the release to pay. So when you have the delivery, we want to do a matching between the delivery, the sale order, and the invoice. Improve FIFO and LIFO. Now you have a real FIFO, I mean a financial FIFO, not only a logistic FIFO. You can pay invoice in batch or one payment for multiple invoice. And we improve the customer portal, that's very important. It's super clean now, you can click your invoice, your delivery orders, your sales order, without having to create an account, that kind of things. Oh, and yeah, I keep thinking about the task, and now I think this task is even bigger than the 2 other ones. So for the next announcements, I will ask Anthony to come, which is our CTO.
Yes, it works. Hello. So I'm Anthony Lesuisse. I'm CTO at Odoo, and what I do is making the product evolve. And we have now a quite huge team at the R&D here at Odoo, and I would like you to applaud them to thank you for their work this year. Fabien already showed you some of the features they developed this year, and I will show you some more. And the first one, which was, I think, weighted by a lot of you, is, of course, Python 3. So what does Python 3, Itanium, and IPv6 have in common? Of course, they are bad choice because they break the compatibility, and I think it's a bad idea to break the compatibility when you can avoid it. And that was one of the reasons why we took so long to switch to Python 3. We waited to the last moment. We could waited at least 1 year more, but we know that we had to do it at some point. But waiting for the last moment had also some good sides, because the people behind Python 3 realized also that it was maybe a mistake to break things that much, and they did some forward port and backward port that help us a lot to migrate from Python 2 to Python 3. So, as you know, in Python 3, we just replace str by bytes and Unicode by str. But it's the same. It's the same after. It's just that the defaults are different. When you open a file, by default, it will give you text. You have to specify when it's binary, and it was not the case before. That's the change that we had the most difficulty with. So, as I said, we waited long, and we had to wait that at least all the library we used were available in Python 3. That took already a lot. And I think maybe last year, during September, I think most of them were ported. We had to sacrifice a few of them. We had to get rid of, for example, PyPDF version 1 that was not available, and also LDAP, which was a binary module that didn't work. So there were a few modules that we had to either use another one or to convert. But mostly, the library we use were available, and we decided to target 3.5, because in 3.5, they supported to use bytes as str. Actually, I don't remember exactly the detail, but there was something with str and bytes that was easier for us. And also, in 2.7, you can use bytes, and it will give you a str. It's not the bytes of Python 3, but you can write bytes. And the reason why it's important, it's because Xavier, who did the work on the migration, decided to make things compatible between the two versions. So he took the lowest common denominator between the two and made it work in the two versions at the same time. And at the beginning, we were not sure that was the right approach, but actually it was a very good approach, because we had the branch running on our current infrastructure, the build were still done in Runbot, and he locally was building on Python 3. And we actually merged his work step by step, and until we knew that we could do the switch at any point, and we did the switch one day by just changing a line in Odoo bin, we said, okay, instead of the shebang line was Python 2, and now the shebang line was Python 3. And we did that switch, I think, maybe 1 month ago, well, it was in August, something like that. And after, we went on to fix bugs. And for example, we had some bugs because, you know, when you divide with a simple slash in Python 3, it gives you a float instead of an integer like in Python 2. That we had some bugs in accounting because of that. And, but there is an operator in Python 3, a double slash, that gives you back the integer. And also, Python decided to round that differently. You know, before it was rounding not evenly, and in Python 3 they round evenly now. So there was some issue with rounding, but fortunately most of the rounding that happened in Odoo is done by a helper called float round. So we had to mainly fix that function, and it was done. So yes, now you can use Python 3 with Odoo 11, and we actually use Python 3 to develop it, and we actually use Python 3 to build it on Runbot. So it means that we don't support officially the version 2 anymore, because we want to allow people to maybe use the new feature of Python 3. But if you have a choice, we advise you not to change the code if you don't have a compelling reason to do so. For example, we internally, we try to avoid to do it, for example, to minimize the work we have to do when we forward port from version to version. So if we have a bug fix in version 10, we usually forward port it to 11, and the minimum line of diff makes it easier to forward port from one version to another. So it's just an advice. You do whatever you do with your module, but internally at Odoo, we say, okay, don't change the code to use an idiom of Python 3 just for the sake of using an idiom of Python 3. You have to have better reason to do it. But we will allow people, even internally, to use Python 3 only features of the language. And one day, I'm not sure that even today it's still run in Python 3, in Python 2. Maybe it's still run, but maybe in 1 month or 2, it won't run anymore. And we don't guarantee that the 11 will work in 2. So you have to make sure that when you deploy it in 3. Yeah, that's it for Python 3. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, we have a talk, I don't know if it's today or tomorrow, about the specific detail of the issue we had with the migration from Python 2 to Python 3. So if you are interested in the subject, you can attend that talk. I think I will give the talk, and Xavier, who did the development, will be also there to answer questions if you have questions about our migration. And we also published a small guide for your own migration to list you the common pitfall and things to avoid, or advice to deal with that migration. And now I will talk to you about something totally different, and it's not inside of Odoo, so it's not a module or it's not in the core of Odoo, but it's something around it. And we called it Odoo SH. So it began because we noticed that people had difficulty to simply deploy Odoo. So if you have to put Odoo in production, you have a lot of things to take care of. For example, you have to install Python, you have to install the dependencies, you have to install the dependencies that are compiled, so that have C code in it. You have to configure PostgreSQL. You have to configure Odoo itself, launch it with the right argument, or do Odoo server RC file. You have usually to configure a proxy before Odoo. Usually we advise to use Nginx, and Nginx will take care of the HTTPS level, so you will have to configure the SSL certificates. You should also configure to use gzip encoding. And using Nginx allows you to benefit from the HTTP keep alive feature, and it makes things much more snappy if you use Odoo, because Odoo itself uses an HTTP server that is very basic and doesn't handle the keep alive. And one of the most difficult things people have to deal with is email. Incoming email, and when we talk to people deploying Odoo, many of them are still using fetch mail, but actually there is another mechanism that is available in Odoo called mailgate, and actually the script file is still called OpenERP mailgate, but it allows you to get the email instantly. So you configure it in your mail server, and you say, okay, every time I receive a mail for this catch-all address, I send it to that script. But you have to configure that script with the right credentials. So it's a bit complicated. That's why I think people fall back to fetch mail. And also, you have to configure outgoing email, and configuring outgoing email nowadays is quite a daunting task, because if you really want your mail delivered because of the spam, you have to configure a lot of things like signing, the domain keys feature, and configuring a SPF policy, configuring a DMARC policy that goes according those two other policies, and then deal with the spam that you might send, and you get blacklisted. You have to unblacklist yourself. So it's a lot of trouble, and that's just for installing Odoo in production. And there are things that I forgot to mention. So it's difficult, and also we notice it's not a problem, but it's just that there are many people who develop with Odoo, and the flow that you use when you work on a project is usually, okay, we decide to implement some feature. So it's on a functional level. Somebody decides, usually a functional consultant, we should do this, that, and that. Then a developer will try to implement it, and he will push his code somewhere. And if they work correctly, they will probably use a test, automated test. Once those tests are passed, they will test themselves, or they will have a team to test the functional part. Usually it's a project manager that creates the task, that test it afterwards. And you have some iteration. We update the specification, and or we notice that there are some bugs, so we have to code again, push, so do the cycle a few times, and then at one time we think, okay, yes, the feature is ready, we will deploy it to the customer. So that's the basic flow I think most of the partners do. And those two combine the difficulty to deploy Odoo in production, if you do it yourself, and managing that flow. We wanted to create a platform to make it easy for people to develop with Odoo, and the platform would take care of all those details and let the programmer and the functional consultant to focus on really what it does the best. It's working about Odoo. And actually, I think there are different kind of developers, and some developers, like myself, really like doing the sysadmin stuff, managing the server, configuring the network, that kind of stuff. We enjoy it. And some other developers, like Fabien, for example, they hate to do that. They just want to focus on the business part of the code. They don't want to to know about the network unless there is a problem. So I know that in the community, the developer who likes doing the sysadmin part of the job, they develop usually themselves a set of script, or they have a methodology, and they are quite successful with it. And some other developers who don't like to do that, usually it's a real mess, and when you go on those servers in production, sometimes you notice that they don't even back up things, and what could possibly go wrong. And also the security sometimes is not taken care of, and you see that the servers are not up to date with the latest security patch, so there might be some exploit and somebody could access the data. So for all those reasons, we wanted to create a platform to make it much more easy to deploy and have the developer focus on the code and the business. And we called it Odoo SH. And the basic architecture of that platform is it's hosted in the cloud, so it's actually it's physically, it's not in the sky, it's physically in Canada, in Europe, in France, and in Hong Kong, in Asia. So we have the three locations. We might add some other one later. And on those servers, we create small containers, but they are not, we are not using Docker. We use something similar to Docker, but more lightweight, which is based on systemd and Spawn. And inside those containers, what we run is actually the code of Odoo and your specific modules for that project. So that's the basic architecture. And so what you provide at the top, what you provide is you select your version of Odoo, you provide your module, or you select existing module, and you deploy them. And what we take care of in that platform is the database replication, the backups, the handling, and I will show you a demo of the different branches and the different instances you could have for development, for staging, for production. We take care of testing your code. We give you SSH access, and we take care of the DNS, the certificates, the email. We monitor your server, and we guarantee that the hosting has a good SLA, like we do actually now in Odoo Online. And it will give you access to something like your own run bot, and I will show you a demo, I think just now. The reason why we can do that, I think, is because we've been now for, I don't know, a few years, maybe 5, 7 years, doing hosting for what we call Odoo Online, which is Odoo without custom modules, so the standard Odoo. And by doing this for a few years, we did encounter some problems, and we fixed them, and we try to fix them so that they don't appear anymore. So sometimes you get strange situation that doesn't happen often, and I don't know, I don't have an example in mind, but we know that we sometimes had strange things, and we had to monitor for them, and I think now we have very stable, oops, very stable SaaS platform, unlike this platform. Wait. Okay. And that's the reason why I think we can do now the same for a custom development platform. The custom development platform is more complicated because in our current online Odoo, we run what we trusted code. So it's code that we wrote, so we know that we can trust ourselves. But here, with Odoo SH, what we will do is actually run code that we don't trust. So we have, on a security point of view, to be more careful, and that's the reason why we isolate every process in a different small container. Okay, let me show you what it looks like. So what I will do is create a new project. And the platform is actually connected and synchronized with GitHub. So you need to have an account on GitHub. Yeah. I will sign in. And here you can actually choose to create a new project. That's what I will do, and I will call it Odoo XP2. And you choose the version of Odoo that you want to run on the platform. We only support version 10 and version 11. And then you need a subscription code. I will talk to you, I will explain you the pricing afterwards. And you can choose also your hosting location. And once you've done that, what we do is create a repository for you on GitHub. If you already have a repository, you can use it. But if you don't have a repository with that name, OdooSH will automatically create a repository with an initial commit. And you can click here and jump on GitHub and see that I have a new repository with that is currently empty. And you can see here on the screen that you have different sections, the production, staging, and development section. But what I will do now is switch to a project that has more data, because it's easier for me to show you all the features. Otherwise, I will have to create many commits to show you every feature. So I will switch to this one, this project that I did yesterday. And so the screen is divided at the left in 3 sections. The production is your production branch. Every line that you see here is actually a branch that you have in your repository. And you have 3 kinds of branch. You have only one in production. That's the one your customer is using. And you can have several staging branch. And a staging branch is like a production branch in the sense that it will use real data. It will take a snapshot from your production branch and use those data. So staging branches are used to do acceptance tests. So people, users of the system, or maybe the functional consultant, we use those branches to decide when we want to apply those staging branches in production. And below that, you have the development branch. That's all the branch that the developer will create to implement new features or fix bugs. And I already have a few of those branches. And you can see at the right, you have the different operation. And for example, I'm currently on master. I can fork the branch. Okay, so for example, imagine that the customers want me to implement a new killer feature. So as a developer, I could decide to fork the master branch and create a new branch called killer feature. I already have one, but maybe the killer feature, the killer 2 feature. And you can see that when I choose an operation, I can, it shows me the git command to run. So actually, if I prefer, I can just type the git command by myself, and it will do the same as clicking on a button. So people who prefer to work on the command line can work and do everything from the command line. People who like the point-and-click interface, they can just click and fill the forms, and it will do the same. Actually, what it does behind is it calls git to do the operation. So, oops. Voilà, here I create a branch. And as soon as I create a branch, it will start to build it. And I will show you. So now the build is queue, and it will start to build in a few seconds. I can show you the screen with all the current builds. And you can see, if you know Runbot, that it's very similar. Actually, for the building of branch, we took our inspiration from Runbot. So the Odoo SH gives you a small Runbot for your own pet projects. The building starting, and I have a few tabs here that are related to the branch, and you see here I have the history of the branch, and there I have the logs. So I can follow the logs of the build that's happening, and I can also filter the logs, for example, to check, okay, there are no errors at the moment. It's a good sign. It's normal because I forked a branch that was green, so it should be green. You can set also what you want to test. Here, in the settings, you can decide that you just want to check and test the module that you want to use in that branch, or you can say, no, I want to, imagine that I'm developing an app for the App Store. I want to make sure that my app works with every module of the basic Odoo, so you can say, okay, I want to install all the modules, or you can also choose a list, say, okay, my customer will use this and that module, and I want that to be installed. Okay. So if I go back here, when I'm in development, what will happen? Voilà, still testing. It will test using the demo data. And once the test is finished, like in Runbot, you will have access to an instance with all the demo data that are available. So it's like we do for Runbot. When you log on Runbot, you have the demo data. Once we have something running, and I will take another branch because it takes time. I go on this one. Here, you see I have an instance running. I did the commit 2 hours ago. Before doing the talk, I tested that everything works. And you can see that there are a few commits here. And once the build is successful, I can click Connect here, and I connect to that database with that specific commit. Alors, the first time you connect on an instance that has not been used for a few hours, or even a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes, he has to start it in that container. So it takes maybe 5–10 seconds, but it's only the first time. After, it keeps running unless we don't need it anymore. So if the process is not used for a certain amount of time, then it gets killed and it will be slow to restart again. But and for production, of course, we don't kill as easily the process. We have different level of when we should kill stuff and when we should restart them. So here I'm in my instance. I made a small module, actually in my branch. I can show you. I don't know if we can read my screen. I created a small module here with the Odoo scaffold command. And I will maybe edit a file and add some code. Voilà. Voilà. And I commit. I have the bad habit of doing MM. Don't do that. Allez, I will do it correctly. Okay. Commit. Implement some cool stuff. Okay. And then I can choose if it's a small change and doesn't require the database to be updated, I just commit my push. I just commit like that. But if I'm committing some change in the data model, then you have to give a hint to Odoo to say, okay, we changed the data model. And the way you do that is by incrementing the module version. And by telling that, we know that when we put in staging or when we put it in production, we will need to do an update of the data model. Here, I push the commit locally, and you can see that, I will close this one. It does the same thing as, you see now, the feature I created from the point-and-click interface is actually ready and built here. And the one that I just pushed is starting to build, because it detects automatically that, OK, I pushed something, we need to build it again. Once we have for the developer has finished his work and say, OK, I think we should put it in staging and ask maybe a functional person or a user to test it, you can drag and drop the branch here. And you have two possibilities. You can say, I want to use a main staging branch, and that one will stay alive for all the time of the project, and I will merge things into that staging branch. Or you can choose also to, every time you create a feature, you move the developing branch into staging, and then after, once it has been validated, then you merge it into production. So when you move from development to staging, you have two possibilities. You can merge into an existing staging one or create a new one. But when you go from a staging to a production one, here you have to do a merge. It's the same. Everything that I do in point and click and drag and drop, I can do it in command line. If I type, if I go on the master branch and I merge my killer feature, it will do exactly the same as if I drag and drop. And you can see now that the branch is building in staging mode. And once I will click here, for example, I will take this one because it's easier. It's already built. If I click here, I connect on the staging branch, and on the staging branch, we don't have the demo anymore because okay, we don't have the demo data anymore because we take a snapshot of the production and we move that snapshot, and then we apply the staging code. And so it allows you to test in staging on the real data of the customer. So that's the main difference between those branches. And also, the staging branch are kept alive. And the development branch, we can, if they are very old, we kill them. So we keep a limited amount of developing branch, but the staging branch, you are guaranteed that they stay alive. So here I go on my pipeline, and you see that the database is empty because it's a database created with, for production with no data. Up. And one of the cool things that Odoo SH allows you to do is to use already existing modules. So you can add submodule here. Of course, you can do it on the command line, but you can also do it from the pop-up here. So you can specify an existing repository. The example that we give here, it's a repository from OCA. And if I go on my killer feature branch, I think I already added a submodule. And the module that I added was the OCA web module. You can see here. And that's all the OCA web module. So from Odoo SH, you will be able to use all the modules from the community. And you keep them in a submodule. So what happens is that you check out a specific version of that repository. You stay on that one, so you're sure that your code runs correctly. Every time you need to update to a newer version of the submodule, you have to update it like you do with Git submodule. So you actually check out a further version of that sub-repository. And Odoo SH detects automatically that you have submodules and that inside those submodules you have actual Odoo add-ons, and it will add it to the add-ons path automatically and make those submodules available. So here, if I go on production, on the production branch, it's a bit slow, so because I didn't connect to it for a few hours. I actually installed a module from OCA, which is the sheet-wide module. It's a simple module that, widen the sheet. So if I go on the opportunity in production, I can go on my pipeline, and you can see that, oh, I didn't install it there. Probably it was in another branch. Okay, it was not yet installed. I probably did the work in staging and forgot to do it in production. And you can see now that I'm running on the official Odoo SaaS an OK module. One other thing that you can do is that when you work in development or in staging, you don't want to annoy your customer with emails, for example. You don't want to send email when you are doing testing. So what happened for the staging and development branch, you have here an email tab that shows you all the email outgoing from that server. And the email stops there and they don't go in the wild. They just stay there. So for example, if I click on that branch, I connect and I send an email, I will see it appear. I don't know which one was it. Okay, this one. For example, if I go on an opportunity and I send a message, I can go back here and see that the message is actually, I don't know which one was it. Test@odoo.com. Voilà. Okay, the mail has been sent, and you can see it appears here. And one other cool thing that you can do is, of course, get a shell directly into the server that is running your code. So you can go into the source code, and we can see that I have a user directory with the checkout of my module, and I can also play there. And I can also use PSQL and debug things from the command line directly. Select ID name from CRM lead. You can do that directly from your browser, and we will probably only deploy it during this month, but we will also allow real SSH access to the shell. And you can see that I can even run Midnight Commander inside my terminal. So as you can see, the platform is running, but the developers are not sure, 100% sure of them no. So they asked, can we put a beta flag at the moment because we don't have customer running in production now on it, but we use it internally for our customer project. So it's still already, it's already used internally at Odoo, and we hope that we will like this platform and we'll start developing on it. Of course, like for the Python 3, we have a talk, and we have also a talk dedicated to that platform. And on that talk, he will also explain you what is behind the platform. How does it work? How did we implement everything? And we will also have a workshop during those 3 days. So there is a specific stand where at any moment you can ask questions about the platform. There will be someone staying there. And you are also free to welcome to talk to me about this. One last thing is the pricing. Fabien? Is the pricing public yet or not? Yeah? Okay. So, but also for partners? Okay. So the public pricing of Odoo SH, I think it's on the website here. It's 150 monthly. But for partners, there is a special offer, and it's actually free for all partners. So it's part of the partner package. So what we said, it's free for partners if they start working on it now, and we guarantee that the projects that are started when it's free will remain free. But we might maybe in the future change the pricing, but it will only affect the project that that are developed from that time. So the reason why we do that is because we really want new coming partners and even every partners to get a foot easily into the Odoo development and ease their work. And thank you, and enjoy your Odoo experience.